Panda MMA, bringing punches with the news. Fight breakdowns, every move you don't want to lose. Catch the latest scoop, like a hook to the chin.
This is Panda MMA News. And now, here are your hosts, Richard and Taylor.
What's up, everybody? It's Daddy from Panda MMA News.
And it's Big fucking
Whoa,
Poppy.
whoa.
Hey.
There we go. There we fucking go.
It's Big Poppy.
Hey, he wants to give Daddy a shoulder massage, and that's all right by Daddy. You
what?
know what I mean? Daddy just got off having COVID. I got them body aches, son. I got them body aches.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help
Daddy might need something.
You know what I'm saying? You can't see it because he wants to cut it off. But, hey, we got them big fucking 22s, son.
Dude, the only thing you saw was the fist that he fisted himself with. But we're going to move right into this podcast, guys. So we were supposed to have 2 interviews. One of them backed out. But we have Connor
Hopwood, bro.
Hopwood. It's right in front of me. I should know this. We have Connor Hopwood. He's going to be joining us, guys. So make sure you guys tune into his interview. You guys are going to enjoy it. He just fought that 2-9 beatdown. He won by KO. I believe it was round 1, right? Round 1? It was round 1 or round 2?
No, it was actually, it was at least round 2.
Well, it was either round 1 or round 2 because I didn't go to 3 rounds.
It went into round 2, brother.
And I'm telling you, it didn't go into 3.
But guys, it was a sick ass perspective. We were right on the cage, dude. We practically were in the fucking
Which
cage.
you guys will see that when we get to the interview because we shared the screen of our angle.
Yeah.
But let's get into these UFC fights that just occurred, guys. We're coming off the cusp of UFC to UFC Vegas 99, I believe it is. UFC. Here, I'll just type in 308 just to pull this up here. So we're just gonna go through the main card, guys. I mean, in reality, I only have one fight to recap. That's the main event, which was a brilliant fight. Hey, co-main was awesome, also though. If you actually watched the co-main was good too. But we'll go off the whole card, our whole main card. We have Darren Elkins versus Daniel Pineda. This is right when I tuned in. I know Daniel Pineda retired. I saw that on a Instagram post.
Good for him.
Well, good for him, but sad that it had to be at the fucking Apex, where there's 300 people. Like that's a pay-per-view or.
We won't miss you.
Okay, cool. Anyways, on to the next one. We have Jake Hadley versus Cameron Smotherman. So originally he had Jake from State Farm. I had the other guy that was supposed to be fighting on this card. He pulled out. Cameron Smotherman took his place on, I think it was like a week's notice or some shit.
Savage.
So shout out Cameron. You showed up last minute. You got it done. Jake from State Farm. Maybe go back to your day job. But we're going to move on to the next one. We have Charles Johnson versus Mudaerji.
So, hey, we both said Charles would win this one. And guess what, motherfuckers? We were right. We were right. Listen to Daddy and
That's
Big
not
Poppy.
the only one we were right, though. There's 2 more after this that we were right on, dude.
Hey, we were always right. You motherfuckers. You
Actually,
listen to us.
I'm pretty sure we both picked Darren Elkins to win the first one, too.
Actually, you didn't pick Rob Font.
Yes, I did.
Did you really?
Yes.
Did you really?
Yes, I rewatched the video, motherfucker. I picked Rob Font.
He picked Rob Font too. So guess what, motherfuckers? We are so right.
So, Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips. At first, it was looking bad for Rob Font. Kyler Phillips is kind of getting the better of him, especially on the ground transitions. But Rob Font got back to the feet, and Kyler was tired after round 1, dude. Going into round 2, Kyler was done.
Dude,
and Rob Font just started unleashing that jab that he's so known for. And, yeah, man.
And that looping hook that he does, dude. It's fucking weird, but he does this looping fucking hook, dude, and it caught.
Was it like an uppercut to a hook?
But it is, dude. It's so weird the way he throws it. It's so unorthodox, but it fucking works, dude. Kyler got popped by that shit like fucking 100 times.
Yep.
Dude.
Shout out Rob Font, dude. Shout out Rob Font.
Rob Font, the old dog that we knew that would win the fight.
And then going into the next fight, the guy we knew he was a little hesitant, but I knew. Anthony Hernandez versus Michel Pineda. We had Anthony Hernandez put on a master class. That if that doesn't get you a fight in the top 5, I don't know what does, dude. That was the most dominant fight I've seen possibly this year.
I'm just going to say this, guys. If you're basing the fight off of fucking the physique, Michel Pineda of course, wins every fucking fight. But what do we know about Michel? He blows his fucking load every fucking time.
And this time in 30 seconds.
This time it only took 30 fucking seconds, you guys. Anthony, in the first 30 seconds, I'm going, oh shit, dude. They really mismatched this one. Well, guess what? Anthony fucking weathered that storm, and not only weathered the storm, but he fucking brought a new fucking storm to Michel. He was the baddest motherfucker on the mat that night, dude. He took him down and fed him all the biscuits, bro. This fool was fucking biscuits and gravy at the end of the night, dude. He didn't even know about it because he is an American, but he fed him the biscuits and gravy. Dude, I don't know if you noticed this, but this is something that I've never seen anybody do other than Anthony. The way he caught the guard, he crossed that leg over, like put it over. He stole the far leg with the hook, and then he fed the fucking biscuits.
Yeah, I mean, that was reminiscent of Khabib shit. Like, that's what the shit Khabib would do.
No, but Khabib would take the close leg. He took the far leg and crossed the other leg over.
Well, that just speaks to the volume of a grappler Anthony Hernandez is. And that's not even like...
No, for real.
He's also a kickboxer, though, because if you heard the post-fight show, he trains under the same coach Max Griffin trains under, which is... forgot his first name, but Mara Nobles Martial Arts. Which, shout out Mara Nobles. Anthony said that you are dealing with major health issues. I hope you recover, or I don't know what to say to that, but I hope you're at least doing well. But shout out Anthony Hernandez, dude. You performed majorly, which, dude, we predicted, even though little bitch was hesitant, we predicted we predict these things, okay? We predict these things. Just before you explain, Jim West. If you don't reply to me, I'm going to find another means to get Anthony on this podcast. I have other means. I will find another mean. I love you, Jim West. I love MMA Gold, but you left me on red, brother.
The only time he gets mean is if you cut him out of the alcohol. But let me just talk to you guys really quick, because if you're basing off of physiques, Michel Pineda wins every time. But that's why Fluffy's so fucking special, okay? He weathered that storm for the first 30 seconds. In that first 30 seconds, I'm going, oh my God, is this a mismatch of the century right now? But then Anthony comes in and he fucking does what he does every goddamn time. There's a reason for his stature, you guys. He has this relentless pressure that, although people think they're going to prepare for it, they don't. And Michel definitely did not. He came in attacking those inside leg kicks. He was working the body really well in the very first 30 seconds. I'm thinking, my God, this guy's calculated and measured. He's gonna expose some of Fluffy's weaknesses. Guess what, guys? Nah. 30 seconds into that fight, Anthony goes, okay, well, I've seen the worst of the worst tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and kick your fucking ass right now, you Brazilian flashy piece of shit. I'm coming from Sack Town, boy. I'm going to put my sack on your fucking forehead right now. He did that, and he did it in spectacular fashion. Guess what? That's how you fucking win a fight. That's how you get into the top 5. Good job, Fluffy.
Yeah, so real quick before we recap the 2 fights that are only worth talking about on the PFL card, shout out for our new year. As you see, new hat. Flip your fucking hat around so the people can see.
Hold on, peeps and sheeps.
With PandaMMANews, dude.
Look at that.
This ain't the only.
Look at it.
This ain't the only logo we have for hats, guys. Check out our Millions shop. As you can see, I'm repping the new shirt. He's repping the new shirt. Show me your back.
Oh,
it's back day,
you guys
dude.
about to see my fucking back.
It's back day. Show that shit. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You see that, dude. You see my shirt. You see his shirt. You see our hats, dude. Check out our Millions shop. Order from there, or catch us at an event, because we're gonna have gear moving forward to slang at events.
Guys, this merch is so fucking dope.
But anyways, let's touch on the PFL card real quick, and then we're gonna end this podcast. It's gonna end with Connor Hopwood jumping on. But so PFL, the only 2 fights we're talking about, Cyborg. Did you watch Cyborg fight?
I didn't, but
okay.
I will say this: I know that she made history.
All right, let me recap this real quick then.
Yeah, shine that fucking shoe, bro.
So it was very clear in the beginning. Cyborg was dominant pretty much everywhere. Cyborg, though, is like Nate Diaz. She has a lot of scar tissue. So she was showing more damage towards the end of the fight versus the younger 28-year-old Pinchenko, I believe her name was. But however, anytime Cyborg wanted it on the ground, she was on the ground. Anytime she wanted it to stand, it was standing. It was a brutal, dominant show of force. Shout out Cyborg. Shout out our boy Larion Douglas, who helped her prepare for this camp. I'm sure you had a very big impact on this fight camp. But let's move on to the main event, which is Francis Ngannou versus Renan Pereira. Best message I can give you guys: if you guys are gonna fight someone who has a deceased child, don't talk shit on that child, man. Because we learned firsthand that you talk shit on someone's deceased child, there's hell to pay. And there was hell to pay last night. Francis, it started out with a leg kick exchange. I believe it was 2 leg kicks for Francis, 1 leg kick for Hernandez. They entered a punch exchange, which neither of them landed. After that, Francis timed a overhand from Hernandez. As soon as he did, he took him down to the ground. He was in Hernandez's guard for a second. Hernandez separated the base of his legs, so he's kind of sprawled out. He regained that composure, and then Hernandez gave his back, and Francis gave him hell to pay, dude. Francis started wailing, and they were hard enough punches where Francis' whole body was releasing pressure from Hernandez's back to deliver these punches to the point where Hernandez flattened out, already knocked out. And Francis delivered one more, just like, mention my son again, bitch. And shout out Francis, dude. I'm proud of you. Shout out.
You know what's crazy is Francis wasn't the bigger guy that night. But when you talk about, like my partner said, personalities and things like that, these fight guys, and I think it's because of Connor and Chael Sonnen and these guys, they don't know where the line is crossed between talking shit and being extremely personal and they think that it's all going to be clickbait. But when you say something about somebody's kid who had just passed away, shame on you. That is not anything you should be saying, like leading up to a fight to get into somebody's head. You crossed the line. And by the way, you might have been the bigger guy going into that fight, but you definitely weren't the most talented, and Francis showed you that. There's a reason why Francis was a champion in the UFC. UFC is the pinnacle of MMA in any showcase, like moving forward. Listen, I'm so happy for Francis being able to not only right that wrong of his opponent for saying what he said going into that fight, but just being so dominant in the first round, you guys. Francis is a beast. He might not be a professional boxer, but he's going to find a way to win, and he's going to be a scary guy for anybody, and I'm saying this right now for John Jones too. Francis wins that fight.
Yeah, but the one he doesn't win, though, is our boy, Tommy Aspinall. Which they asked Tom Aspinall about this, and he actually
I'm glad you brought that up.
He gave Francis his props. He was like, dude, he's scary as hell. He's like, it's not someone who I'd want to fight. He's all, but if I did, look at the technical aspects. He's better everywhere technically. I mean, they both probably share a similar level of power, you'd imagine. They're both giant men. Age and all that, I'd have to side with Tommy, but John Jones for surely gets creamed by both of them. John, come on the podcast, prove us wrong, but if not, both those guys cream your shit, dude. You're cream corn to them.
The creamiest of the corn.
But
yeah, you brought up a good point. Tom Aspinall, the guy who's sitting on the outside looking in, he's the true champion of the UFC. He dominates John Jones. He dominates Francis, in my opinion. But I'm not saying it's an easy fight, guys. Both those guys are extremely talented for different reasons. Francis is going to hit you with that knockout power. John Jones is going to have extreme wrestling and just being an athlete So, but Tom Aspinall, he's the complete package. And anybody that I've doubted that he was going to win, he actually dominated in clear fashion. So I can't even talk shit.
And speaking of clear package, guys, the clear package is going to our Millions account and purchasing some gear. You can get hats, you can get rash guards, you can get shirts, you can get joggers, dude.
You can get your ass whooped, too.
Get a complete package. That's all I can say, guys. But we're gonna cut this podcast off here. Make sure to tune into Thursday night's episode. We're gonna give our picks for UFC 308 coming up. We might give a take. Well, we won't give a take because we haven't covered it yet. But we are also covering a local event here from a coach, Gene Fields. He's throwing a Muay Thai kickboxing championship fight thing. Also, the co-promoter on that is also our coach, Victor Zaragoza. Shout out, Vic. So yeah, make sure you tune in Thursday's episode. We'll give you our breakdowns on that. But until then, guys, stay frosty, dude, just like my nostrils. And make sure you go on our Millions. You purchase some gear, guys, because we out here starving, dude. We out here. We came from the mud, dude. We one of them.
Hey, we drinking Twisted Teas now, guys.
Some tweez.
Get with us or get without us.
Yep, get without us. But
you need
until
to make a
then,
decision. Subscribe. It's not hard to do. It's free. And like the photos. Hey, and you know what I'm saying? Hey.
What the fuck are you saying? Follow us on all social medias. Instagram is Panda MMA News 1. X and TikTok are Panda MMA News. Follow us on those. Stay up to date when we release podcasts. And make sure you subscribe and follow.
Or else your name's Ian.
Yeah, until then, continue being Ian and Crazy Cuck. Yeah.
The cuck of the crazies.
I have nothing else to say to you virgins. Later.
Later, Lucy's. All right, guys. Welcome to Panda MMA News. We got Big Poppy and Little Bitch here.
It's Daddy.
Little Bitch here.
It's Daddy.
Okay, you guys know what it is. But we got Connor Hopwood from over the pond. He's hopped on over here to USA. And
you stupid bitch.
You see what this fucker does, dude? This is what I'm talking about, Connor. You know what? My first question for you is, what got you into MMA and what got you to come to America, you know, and not just try to make it work in your hometown?
The world heavyweight champion in WWE. As soon as I realized that wasn't real fighting, I switched over and went with MMA.
I do got to ask you, because I know that I had one, but I'm curious if you did. Back when WWE was like the shit and you're a kid and you didn't realize it was a fake thing, did you have one of those deals where they had the water at the bottom of it and you'd hit it and it'd come bounce back to you and you'd hit it again and it'd bounce back to you? Did you have one of those?
I had a practice dummy that I used to like choke slam and wrestle, and sometimes he'd beat me, sometimes I'd beat him, and you know, we'd have some real close matches. But I feel like that practice dummy really conditioned me for the, you know, the hard training of MMA, you know, taking your wins and your losses.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But so that's awesome, dude. Because that's funny because our childhoods were similar in that respect. My dad bought me one of those, and I'd jump off the walls and beat the shit out of that thing until it popped.
Yep.
What made you make the jump over to USA? Because you said you're from what, England?
Yeah, I'm from a small town called Bromsgrove. I was born in Redditch, which is like 10 minutes away from Bromsgrove. So I was always in the same sort of area. And then why I've come over here is I met a girl who was from California. She was studying abroad in Birmingham. Met her. We started dating. We made a run of long distance, and then I came over here for a while. And over the years, we just we kept staying together, and now we're married. So I'm living in the United States with my wife. So bit of a love story with that one. Not really, you know, trying to just move country for MMA, but that's all part of it as well. You know, you have that California's one of the best places in the world for chasing this dream. And, you know, I get the dream girl at the same time, so no complaints.
Fair enough. Well, you know, congratulations on your recent win at 2-9 beatdown. Can you walk us through that fight and what it felt like to get that win via KO?
That was awesome. I mean, that was I've been over in the States for a year now, so it felt like all that work that I've put in over the year with immigration and all the stuff outside of the gym as well as inside of the gym. It all came down to that, and getting in there, I felt like I'd done everything professionally. I felt I had the edge there. Um, and just when I was in there with him, I felt like I just had the edge, and I felt like I was a few steps ahead of him with everything, and got him on the deck and took him out, and he couldn't shake me. So when the ref stopped it, all that release came out of me all at the same time, and I felt so good. And it's the highest highs and the lowest lows this sport, and I experienced the highest high. So it was a great day at the office.
That's killer, man. Yeah, we were right there for it. We were like practically in the octagon with you when that all went down. I actually have a really cool picture of one of those final bombs that you dropped from a full mount. We're gonna end up posting it in this, but we'll also send it to you too because I'm sure you'll like to have it.
That's awesome.
But it was one of the last punches before the ref basically waved you off. Yeah, that one. I think he's gonna pull it up right now so you can see it. But what a cool experience, man! Because I got to meet you that morning and have a little chat with you before you got to compete. And can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That was one of the last punches before he waved you off. He was already getting closer and closer to you.
Yeah.
But that was a cool experience for me because, like I said, when I meet somebody and then they fight, I feel like I got a dog in the fight. And although I don't really know you, Connor, just having that little experience with you, I was bought in on you before you stepped into the octagon that day. And it was a really cool experience to just be that close. It's really a perspective that I don't think very many people get to see when you're that close. Like literally there was a point where you guys even got to the cage and flexed the cage, towards us when you guys were pressed up against it for just a second. I'm like, dude, this is insane. Everybody should experience this at least once, right? And I'm sure I know for a fact it's a much different experience to be on the other side of that cage where you were at as well. So let me ask you this. Right now you're an amateur. Do you and your coaches, do you guys, I know you have new coaches, I'm sure, but it's like, do you guys talk about, hey, how many fights do we want to see Connor before we push him to that professional level? Do you have any kind of roadmap, or are you just going for it until somebody says, hey, Connor, like, dude, quit fucking around. Like, now you're there, dude. Like, let's see it happen. Like, what do you guys talking about?
It's with my coaches. You got Tyson Griffin, former UFC fighter, and you got Stephen Chow, one of the better striking coaches in California, I'd say. He's got a lot of good people out there kicking ass in Muay Thai. They're not the sort to like blow smoke up your ass and tell you like you're gonna go pro at this time and do this and do that. With us, it's get better, be better than I was yesterday, and just keep taking one step in front of the other, and one fight at a time. Just keep winning fights, and it'll all fall into place. If you do the little things right, I'm gonna get there eventually. They know my goal. I want to be a professional fighter. I want to make a living off of this and support my family. And they're just preparing me for that each day at a time, and the results will add up, and I'll be there eventually, and they'll give me the nod.
That's awesome, dude. And now that this little guy to my left is done yapping, we can actually get to the real talk. So you're training out of Guerrilla Jiu-Jitsu, right?
No, so they're a team gym of ours. We go cross-bar them, and that they help us out with sparring because they've got a lot of bodies, but they're in Pleasanton. We've got a gym called Omni Movement in Hercules, and that's where I train most of the time. And I do jiu-jitsu there under Tyson Griffin, and I do the striking there under Steve.
Okay, that's cool. So do you have a next fight lined up the next time you'd like to step back in that cage?
It'll probably be on the next 209 card. If I can get on it, that'll be I think mid-January, January 11th, I think it is. So I'm eyeing that one up. I'm actually flying back to England at the end of this month, so I'm taking a little bit of a break. But then I'll be back training in November and December, and then get back in there January.
So you headed over to see the family for the holidays?
Yeah, see them for a couple of weeks. A couple of my old training partners have fights and stuff, so go help them get ready and show them some American jiu-jitsu and how these Americans fight, rather than all fisticuffs from the Brits.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. What differences have you noticed, training over there versus over here in California or in America in general?
I think just being around people that have done it at the highest levels or are doing it at the highest levels was a huge difference. I feel like you're a product of your environment. So when everyone around you is doing it right, you start doing it right even without, trying that hard. Like you cut weight correctly, you eat correctly, you drink correctly, hydration, sleep, all these little things that add up to be a better fighter than your opponent on the night. That's the biggest difference. You could just where I was training, I could just get away with kind of doing whatever I wanted and just kind of making it up myself. And then over here, I'm seeing people that are living my dream or who have lived my dream and what they've done. It's like, okay, that's what you do. And there's just way more access to that over here. So many people have competed at the highest levels, especially in California, where there's a lot of MMA.
So how do you typically prepare for your fights? What does your training routine look like leading up to these matches?
I think it's being steady and consistent. I think consistency is the biggest one. I used to like burn out. I'd go like 2 days really hard and then nothing for like a couple days. But this camp was just like practice every day. It was just practice every day. I hit a lot of open mats for jiu-jitsu. I know this kid was going to be dangerous on the ground. So I kept working on my jiu-jitsu, playing off my back just in case he got me on there. Just problem solving, eliminating easy wins for my opponents, and just being consistent in the gym. I couldn't really add in much strength and conditioning and lots of running this camp because of outside the gym. My wife just got a new job and I got a new job, so it was all a bit scheduling difficult to figure that out. But I just went in the gym every day, did a hard practice, and then I recovered well. I'd stretch, I'd just do all the little things that I could do right, and it worked out. So I can only improve from here, and I had a good base for this camp.
What are you doing for work, brother?
I'm cleaning. I clean an office, and I have to wake up at like 3:50 in the morning, and I go and clean that for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I come back, be with my wife for an hour before she goes off to work, and then I head to the gym and train, and then come back and be with my wife.
We'll talk offline, but I have an opportunity for you. It'll change your life, just like UFC, if you get to that point at some point. But this will be a lot easier to accomplish than the UFC. It's just talking to people, but it's what I do for a living. I knock doors, and it'll open up a lot of time and give you and your wife the ability to do more things and let you focus on training and just be the better man in the cage every time you get in there. But we'll talk about it. But what I want to ask you about is I want you to share with us some of the moments you've felt in the cage, some of your prior fights, maybe, because we didn't see a lot of adversity from you in this last one. You were pretty dominant. It was pretty well-rounded. You did great. But tell us about some adversity that you've experienced and what was running through your mind in those moments. And I just want to know, what was it that, either helped you push through the hump, or maybe you didn't, and you had to resonate with that and grow from it. But I just want to hear from you.
I think whenever I'm facing adversity in the ring or in the cage, I'm pretty level-headed, and I practice a lot of stoicism. So you don't even see it as adversity. You just kind of stay stoic and just push through. You have a goal, and that's to beat the other man. I think where it's hard to be stoic is in training. I think on this camp, and I think a lot of guys will, they might not admit this, but there's a lot of days where, you know, you leave training crying, or you end up crying at training and you feel like a bitch, like a coward, or like someone that shouldn't be an MMA fighter because you think that you suck. And like you have those days, you have those weeks sometimes, and just to keep pushing and to believe in yourself and listen to your coaches and carry on the next day and have that short-term memory. Like that didn't happen. I'm going into the next day. I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. That's the hard thing to do, and it's only over when you quit. So taking that next step and that other next step, however hard that step is, that's the hard part, and that's where all that training and having those highest highs and lowest lows, like I previously said, that's where it's difficult. Being in the cage, you know, I feel that everyone that gets in the cage, they're prepared to fight, you know. So they get hurt, they're gonna carry on fighting. They get, you know, they get into a submission, they're gonna try and escape the submission. You know, look at my opponent. Like he just didn't give up. He would constantly move to avoid the stoppage. He came out really strong in the second round. Like I had to respect all of that, even though I was winning, and I was winning quite dominantly. He kept rallying. So I think in the cage, it's almost like that's the part where all the training falls into place, and you're gonna end up fighting regardless through adversity. But in the training, when there's no glory on the line, that's when it's difficult. And those days you have to bounce back from and have a short-term memory. That's where it's at.
So this is going to be my final question for you. I don't know if he has another one he wants to ask, but my final question for you is, what do you enjoy doing outside of fighting? Do you have any hobbies or interests that help you unwind?
That's a tricky one. See, my coaches get on my ass about this because they're like, oh, you don't do anything outside of the gym other than fighting. It's really easy for how your day in the gym affects the day outside of the gym, right? So all those bad days I bring home sometimes. But I really like being outdoors, going for hikes, looking at, you know, nature and just having that peace and quiet. I think you need balance as a fighter, and you know, having blood, sweat, and tears inside the gym to just relaxing and breathing and enjoying wildlife outside the gym. That's where it's at. And I go for hikes, backpacking, and enjoy nature and just enjoy time with my wife, and just a lot of peace. That's what I'm looking for outside of the gym.
I love that, dude. You know, I grew up in the valley, but I live in the mountains, and but it's because what you just said resonates really heavily with me. I spend a lot of time in nature. I spend a lot of time reflecting and just having that balance, because a lot of my time is spent working, right? And you do need that balance, because at the end of the day, even though we're human, we are very primal, and you need to speak to that part of yourself in order to have a good connection with life. So anytime, Connor, dude, anytime you want to come check out the mountains, go do a hike with me, reach out to me, brother. I'd love to share with you some of the spots, and if that's what you like to do, we can connect on that. But hey, listen, man, I really appreciate you hopping on with us and just sharing a few moments. And you share a really cool perspective, because you're not from the United States of America. You are from a different place. And although history all started for us right there, it ends over here in the land of the free. And I do appreciate you. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Not you, Connor. This little fucker over here, dude. Look at this little. He's French. You know that, right? He's a French fucker. Yeah, exactly, dude. He's a French little bastard.
This guy's a Neanderthal idiot. Don't listen to him.
and all that is true, and it speaks to what we're talking about.
Yeah, just get your fireworks out already, dude. You're trying to like rub in his face. We got independence. We get it, dude.
He's here, bro. He's one of us. He's the same as same, brother. Hey, when I did my ancestry, turns out I'm Scottish Norwegian. So hey, my bloodline's over there too. Like, I get it, but what I'm saying is, I do appreciate you hopping on with us, Connor, and And if you'd like to go for a hike sometime, let me know. I'll shoot you some spots. We can go put some sweat in. And thanks for hopping on, brother.
It sounds good. Thanks for the platform. You guys are doing great.